Hello YouTube, Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about ungating, and I think I'm going to do the title of this video of kind of the, I had a title name picked out in my head, now I can't remember, so hopefully I remember it by the time I need to title the video. But all about ungating. I wanted to have just a quick and frank discussion about ungating since it's been brought up on a couple of comments on the last several videos of mine, because I do show you some items that will be gated, some items that aren't. I try to show you as much as I can that it's not going to be gated, but I'm out here sourcing. I got to source what's available to me and what I can make money on. So a lot of times that is gated items. So today is Sunday. It's my day to go out sourcing. So we're filming in the car because it's quiet in here and I'm not getting any interruptions, which is good. So I want to talk, this is going to be a basic video. So I'm going to try and explain all the details around gating and ungating so that if you are just new to Amazon, you can follow along, but it might be over-explaining for some of you who have been doing this for a little while. Okay, so let's pretend you just started out on Amazon, you've got a brand new account. What should you be doing? My two go-to suggestions is to be scanning everything in your house and looking at it on the Amazon seller app, seeing what it's categorized at, getting familiar with rank, seeing if you could actually sell it or not. So that way when you go out to a store, you kind of know what you can sell and what you can't sell. This is a good piece of homework to do, right? The other thing you should be doing is as you come across things that are gated, go ahead and apply for them, and that will put a little application in your account, and you can go back to it later to either provide invoices or try again to get auto ungated. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about. What do you mean invoices or auto ungating? There are two ways you can get ungated in something. One is automatically. Your account reaches some sort of maturity level. That's a secret formula from Amazon that you will automatically be allowed to sell that product, and you just get automatically, your application gets approved. That is great. Now, you could be gated in the category, the brand, or the ASIN. There's 3 levels of ungating that you could be auto-approved for or not auto-approved for. Okay, so go through, and as you see these things, go ahead and hit the apply button, because as your account matures, you're going to go back to those applications and try again. If it didn't happen today, try again in 6 months, try again in a month, and some will open up to you based on the maturity of your account. Now, I believe just after selling so long that maturity is made up of what you sell, how often you sell, what brands and categories you sell, your feedback, your voice of the customer, your IPI. I mean, I think it has a little bit of everything with your seller account, kind of goes into it. And what they're trying to see is that you're not just a pop-up overnight seller looking to sell Nike shoes for, or Q4 toys right off the bat, that you are a seasoned seller, that their customers, remember it's Amazon's customers, are going to get the correct product, the correct packaging, the correct everything, and have a good customer experience. Remember, Amazon's all about the customers. So they want you to prove to them by selling some other things that are not as particular to their customers and doing well selling those. Then they're going to let you sell other things. All right, now let's get into the more difficult one where it's not automatically ungated. They're going to say, no, you're not automatically ungated. We need something from you. A lot of times that's an invoice. Every once in a while, it'll be something a little bit different than an invoice, maybe a direct letter from the company or something. And that's going to be, whether it's an invoice or anything else they ask for, that's what you need. There's no getting around this. I have heard horror stories of people sharing invoices, or there is actually a company website that you can produce an invoice and they have just made their own invoices up. Guess what? On the back end of Amazon, they have algorithms and bots that look at those things, and if they find out you've done it, that's it. Your Amazon career is done. They will you can try to come back from something that bad, you're going to need a lawyer and a whole lot of luck to do so. They do not look fondly on anybody who falsifies any sort of information whatsoever. Now, that being said, let's say you are your own company and your own brand, and we're not going to really talk about this, but you need to provide an invoice to Amazon and it's your own product, etc. That's when maybe having some sort of program that makes an invoice might come into play. That would be valuable to you. So I'm just throwing that out there because there is everything with Amazon. It's like 90% this answer, but every once in a while there's but if you do this, you can go that pathway. But most of us are looking for invoices and stuff because we're starting out with retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and or moving up into wholesale items. All right, so you need an invoice. There's no like if, ands, or buts. You either wait until your account matures enough and you get automatically approved for it, or you get an invoice. Some things will eventually auto open up to you. I can tell you right now, that's Nike, Under Armour, Bali bras, French toast pants that I talked about the other day, Ravensburger puzzles, toys, Hasbro, Barbie. All of those opened up naturally for me. I did not use an invoice for any of those. But if you need an invoice, you need to get the particulars and follow whatever Amazon says needs to be in that invoice. So it needs to be within, let's just say, I don't know, I didn't pick the particulars off for this talk here, but let's say they want it within the last 90 days. It needs to be within the last 90 days. If it's not going to work. Don't try to white out the date or change the date. That will get you into trouble too. If it needs to be for 10 units, it needs to be for 10 units. If you're using an invoice for multiple ungatings, let's say you want to get some toys and you want to get ungated for both Barbie and Hasbro, yes, you can use the same invoice, but you need to have 10 units of each on that invoice. Some people have said that if you're getting ungated for Barbie, you can have 10 different items, but it still needs to be all Barbie items, so you could have 10 different Barbies and that would work. I haven't tried it, so I'm trying to be open and honest with what I've tried and what I haven't tried, and what I've heard through the grapevine, aka Facebook boards mostly, and friends who have divulged information to me on what has worked for them and what has not worked for them. Okay, so you need this invoice. And then you go, well, where do I get those invoices? Oh my gosh, I need an invoice for something. There are particular wholesalers out there that are fairly easy to get these invoices from. It's going to cost you money though. I don't want to beat around the bush. And I have watched, there was some paid for course that I actually did watch. And I'm telling you right now that most of the stuff I'm telling you right now was in that paid course. And I was kind of surprised at what some of the gurus out there are charging for information. I'm going, this should be public knowledge. And that's why I do these videos, because I truly believe that if you want to work for yourself, there is enough information out there to get you started. And then you may want to pay for some things when you see some missing information that you truly do need. I'm not against paying for courses and everything, but I am trying to help you out to avoid some of those courses out there that are an arm and a leg. Okay, for wholesalers, I'm going to leave quite a few down in the comments. I know of 3 or 4 off the top of my head that are good go-tos. And if you guys have any that have worked for you and you want to share that knowledge on this because, you want to share that and be nice to everybody, go ahead and list that down below. Couple of things. Most of these items are not going to be money makers. You're probably going to lose some money. You want to look at the items and you need to do a couple of things. One, you need to see what's on the website, see what's on Amazon, and find something that lines up. Okay, for this example, we're going to use Frontier Grocery. Everybody knows Frontier Co-op has invoices that will work for grocery ungating. Now, this is, let's see here, we are on the last day of January 2021, so this information is applicable now. In 6 months, it may be outdated. I have had companies that have been really good for ungating, then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no, we've kind of gotten in trouble with Amazon, or we've changed our policy, or they're just no longer available or applicable or whatnot. So for this example, we're going to talk about Frontier Co-op. That's pretty well known on the Facebook boards. I would suggest joining a bunch of Facebook boards and then following the threads. And if somebody says, hey, I got ungated using this company, you know what? That's a good thing to write down and see if that would work for you. Okay, so you're going to look at Frontier's products, and you're going to find that product for sale over on Amazon. So you're going to have two browsers open, and you're going to search on Frontier, then you're going to go search on Amazon and try to find it there. You want to find a matching ASIN. The two products that I've heard work over for grocery ungating on Frontier is spices and cocoa butter cubes. I haven't looked to see if any of these spices, but for this example, we're going to say a bottle of cinnamon. So you're going to find a bottle of cinnamon over on Frontier. And again, I'm making this up as an example story so that I walk you through what you're going to do yourself. So you're going to find the spice. In this scenario, we found a bottle of cinnamon. We see a bottle of cinnamon on Amazon. Let's say it's $7 on Frontier and it's $8 on Amazon. You know you're not going to make any money. You do not have to send in the actual products to Amazon. You just need the invoice. They don't care if you actually send the products in or not. So whatever you're going to buy over on Frontier, assume you're going to make a loss on it, but also you can try and recoup some of your money by maybe selling it on Amazon at a loss, using it yourself, donating it to a food pantry. I don't know. Try to minimize the cost. So you're going to look for things that are on the cheaper side. You don't want to go sourcing saffron or anything expensive. You want to go for a cheap common spice to get this invoice. That's the same with anything else. If you're doing beauty products, if you're doing clothing, whatever you're doing, you're going to go for a cheaper product, and you want to have at least a couple ways to get rid of it. My go-tos is Amazon first, usually, then eBay, then some other platform, and or maybe using it myself. So if you know you really love cinnamon, that's great. We're going to go with that. Okay, so you're going to apply for an account. That sometimes takes a little bit of time. Sometimes you got to wait a day to get approved and whatnot. With Frontier, if you provide them your tax exempt certificate, you'll get, I think it's 10% off. I can't remember. And so you'll want to do that if you have a tax exempt certificate. You should. That's a good thing to have in business. You don't want to double pay on your sales tax. Okay, so you're going to put in for an order. You need to make sure that whatever information Amazon is asking for and needs to line up is with that account. So if I'm Lucy at the Best Cinnamon Store, the Best Cinnamon Store name of my store, I want to make sure that my Amazon store is called the Best Cinnamon Store and the owner is Lucy, and the credit card information, the address, all of those things line up. Don't go through all this process and then order it on your husband's information or your mother's address or anything like that, because when Amazon is looking at the invoice, they're looking for all the boxes to be ticked. They want to see the company's name. They want to see their address. They want to see their phone number. They want to see your information, business name, address, phone number, etc. They want to see a website on the invoice. You can Google this to see exactly what boxes are ticked if you're looking for a particular wholesaler and you want to see if their invoice will match what Amazon wants. Go and Google that and find out exactly what information needs to be on that invoice. But I think I've hit most of it. Name, phone numbers, addresses, websites. The actual product name needs to line up with the product you found over on Amazon that you're trying to get ungated for. So in this cinnamon example, if it's simply cinnamon 4-ounce jar, the Amazon ASIN needs to be simply cinnamon 4-ounce jar. And you're going to want to apply to sell that cinnamon jar, and that's where you're going to submit the invoice with those cinnamon jars that you bought from a wholesaler, right? Let's see here. That is pretty much the gist of getting ungated. Some of the other places that I've been told work is East Bay for clothing. The Hanes B2B, I've had other people say it works. You're going to Google up Hanes B2B, and it's the same thing. You're not going to go to Hanes B&B and be like, I need an invoice for Amazon. No, you're going to you got to do the research, find the product, match up the product, get the purchase, submit the invoice, etc. to get the ungate. Who are the other ones? I have them marked in my folder, so when I put this video up, I'm going to kind of list them out in the description down below. So if you are looking specifically, like, I really want to sell grocery and I just can't seem to get ungated, you can see the recommendations down below. But do know that it's all with a grain of salt, because you know, what worked 3 months ago may not work for you now, and things are always changing. That's why it's good to be up on the Facebook boards and seeing what is working for everybody. Now, I have heard, and another thing that prompted me to do this video this week, is that people are having really good luck with ungating and things. Amazon goes through cycles of kind of cracking down on sellers and cracking down on things, and then kind of opening up a little bit and letting some approvals go through and stuff. So that's another thing to listen for. If you see a lot of people are starting to get approved, like I have this week, that's when you'll want to go through your applications, which is on my list to do this week. I have applications too. There's a lot of things I still can't sell. And you just click on that application button, and I right click open in another tab, just because it's easier if you're going down your list of applications to hit right click open, right click open, right click open, and then go through and see what you got auto ungated for. But I have heard this week that a lot of people are getting ungated, and it's been very favorable in the Amazon world this week. I can't think of anything else that would be noteworthy. Oh yeah. Sometimes Amazon wants pictures of said item. I think that might be for new listings though. But if you ever need to submit pictures for Amazon, they like all 6 sides. So if you're doing, we're just going to take my bottle of water. You're going to do the front, the back, the side to side, the front, the bottom, 6 sides. I've had other people that were getting stuck that I saw this week on whatever they were doing, and it was because they were submitting 4 pictures and not the top and the bottom. Okay, so once you get your item in, they're going to want... Okay, so back to our scenario. We've ordered our cinnamon. We've got our invoice. Usually you won't get that invoice. Sometimes you get it right when you purchase something. Sometimes you got to wait until it's all shipped and it's in the pack, you know, it's in the shipment. But you're looking for that invoice with everything on it, not the packing slip. Sometimes companies send a packing slip and it's just what they picked and pulled from the warehouse, and it's got like the quantity and everything, and they put it in the box and ship it to you. You need the invoice. You're going to mark out the prices you paid and annotate appropriately. Always make a copy of the invoice so you don't mark up one and then find out that you can't fix things. And annotate appropriately whatever they are looking for on that invoice if you need to as well. I've heard some people that just submit the invoice as is and it's good to go. Sometimes you need to go through and like highlight all the information they're asking for and then submit it. But that might be more for IP stuff. I hear more annotations for IP stuff, not necessarily the invoice part. If anybody is promising you amazing ungating services or things like that, please take that with a grain of salt and do some research. See who's used it before, get some reviews and whatnot. Because, like I said, I've seen some of these ungating services that people have said, and they're like, oh, yeah, we just all go in on one invoice for, we'll say, 10 pairs of Nike shoes, and let's say that would be $500, and you're going to share it between 5 people, so everybody just chips in $100, and you all share that invoice. No. Run the other way. Do not get roped in to those types of scenarios. That is not what Amazon wants to see. Will it work? Maybe, but the risk is certainly not worth it, and they have cracked down on those types of things. Like I said, they've got image software that looks at images, especially invoices, and looks for commonalities, and or if they think you've altered the document at all, they're going to flag that as well. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry I'm not too clear on when you submit the invoice, the annotating part. I'd have to look again at what the requirements are, and if the requirements say you just got to follow that. So within a certain time period for a certain amount, and then I believe it usually, or it has in the past, said that you can black out the prices and it's optional. And the last time I tried ungating something, and it was eons ago, and when store receipts worked, I did not black out the prices, and it got kicked back because I didn't black out the prices, and the representative was nice enough to say, yeah, even though it's optional, you still need to black out the prices. So I blacked out the prices and resubmitted my receipts, and it worked that way. What it is today, you know what? You just start, and if it gets kicked back, then make a tweak here and there and keep submitting until you do get it. They want to make sure the title lines up is the big one. So when you are searching on Amazon, make sure that title and the product description line up with what you're purchasing. It can't be different. You can't say, I want to get ungated for cinnamon and use an invoice and you bought sage or something. It's got to line up. And if it's like a 3-pack of cinnamon, then you need 30 cinnamons to make that 3-pack, right? So I would suggest doing that too. Would 10 work? I don't know. You could order 10. And if it doesn't work, then you're out the 10 cinnamons and you've got to do another purchase for 30. So try to do it right the first time, I guess. Yeah, it could work, but I wouldn't chance it. Try to find something that's economical. Now with DVD, I will talk a little bit longer. I'm sorry. With DVD ungating, I think I'll try and leave my DVD source down below. I haven't tried them, but this is where I'm going to go once I decide to pull that trigger, which I was thinking about last year and I didn't do it. Most of the DVD companies have now upped the requirement for you to purchase from them to get ungated with Amazon. They know the game. They know what you're trying to do. And when I was looking at it, I was looking at pretty much $1 to $2 DVDs. You needed to do about $1,000 invoice. That was the company's requirement. So that's why we try to share some of the easier ungates, because it's not as expensive. $1,000 to get ungated in DVDs may not seem like a lot to some people. To me, it's a little bit of money because I don't have a real plan for sourcing DVDs or, objective with adding DVDs to my business. But with other companies, let's talk about EE distribution for a second. Those ones, a lot of people target magnets, keychains, small toys that are going to be in the, a couple bucks to maybe $5 range to try and get the invoices to get ungated. Same with Barbies. Funko Pop, I haven't heard anything about getting ungated with Funko Pop. I am gated in them as well. They're a local company, and they're really a tough one to get ungated with. Some companies you're not going to be able to do. I mean, just flat out without having a brick and mortar or some good contacts, it's going to be extremely difficult to do. North Face is another one. I got a nasty gram in the mail from North Face. I had put one pair of gloves up for sale a couple weeks ago, and they sent me a letter in the mail, get your stuff off, you're not a verified reseller, blah, blah, blah. So I pulled the product. I'll send it over to eBay and sell them there. But there are some companies like that. I really don't have a chance in heck to get an account with North Face. They really want to see a big brick and mortar. They want to have some very large minimum orders. I'm just not at the level that North Face wants me in their realm of suppliers. So keep that in mind as well. You may be sitting here wanting to go after some big fish in the sea, and you may just not be at the level to play with them yet. But the easy stuff you should be able to do. If you want Barbie and Manny toys, EE distribution has worked well for years. Like I said, Frontier Co-op for food, Lotus Lights for beauty, and I can't think of the DVD one. I want to say it's Alliance or Amped or AMP. I'll find it out. I'll put it down below in the description. So I hope you guys like this little heart-to-heart talk. A lot of people, that's kind of their first roadblock. They get out, they get, gung-ho, ready to do this Amazon thing, and then you find out that a lot of things are gated. But keep your chin up, keep scanning, keep sourcing, keep adding and adding and adding and doing those applications, and your account will get there. I promise you, it will get there. But it does take some groundwork, and we all go through this groundwork. Everybody has to do it. It's not like anybody is special and got out of doing this. I will say, the other thing this week, the request to be approved with the Amazon seller app has not been working this week. So I don't know if I need to restart my phone, but I'll throw that out there too. that's come up this week, because I was sourcing last night on my phone and I couldn't add, I couldn't do the application. It gives me some error page. So there's just problems with Amazon all the time, and you got to keep up on what those problems are. And that's why I do these videos, so you guys know that you're not alone out there. All right, I got to get into Walmart here. I will talk to you guys later.